Welcome home, the place where you truly belong to, your own self. Welcome to another episode where we are going to talk a lot about returning to yourself, the way back to your own home. When I say self love, the question that many people has is if I love myself the most, won't that affect my relations, my affection and love to other people? If I give priority to myself, won't that be selfishness? If I am a mother and if I prioritize myself than my child, how can I be a good mom? The same goes to any relations. How can I be a good lover, a good giver if I focus on myself? A genuine question, right? Many of you have this. I had this question earlier. Let's see what happens if you do that. If you love yourself, if you prioritize yourself, what does it mean? Imagine a situation where you're talking to your spouse and the conversation goes to a conflict, and you know that you are compromising on yourself to avoid that situation or to soothe out that situation, to solve that situation. Somebody has to lower down to find solutions, right? If I stick on to my pride and I prioritize myself, it will go to next level where the problem will not solve. It can go to the next levels of problem. How can self love help here? When we say prioritize yourself, you should respect your choices, your values. You should respect yourself. If you don't do that, how can you expect the same from others? Because the one person that knows you the best is you. Not your kids, not your parents, not your spouse, not your best friend. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself. Because you were that person who was there with you in all the ups and downs in your life. You saw yourself, how low you were when you were facing challenges and struggles and pain, the amount of pain that you went through. I'm damn sure nobody in this world knows the depth of that except you. Somebody might have known here and there, they might have understood a bits and pieces of that, but for sure, not to the extent that you have faced it. And it is the same for everybody. Only we know ourselves the best, complete 100%. Yet, we don't know who we are. Only we were there in so many moments, yet we don't value ourselves. We reject ourselves first and we expect others to accept us, value us. In the scenario that we spoke, when you are in a conversation and you realize that you have to compromise on your values, beliefs, and ethics to solve that situation, just imagine what will happen after that. The problem may get solved, the other person got the solution. You imagine, okay, I solved the situation, I sacrificed, I compromised, and I solved the situation. But does that really solve the situation? What happened after that? When you solve the so called situation and you go back the next day and the next day and the next day, this thought will remain in your heart that I compromised for this. And what comes along with that? We expect the other party to respect our compromise. We want them to acknowledge us, to accept us, to, kind of value us for the compromise and the sacrifice that we took to solve that problem. But do you ever get it that from the other person? I think 99% of the times it's a no. Exceptions may be there, That's very less. But there were situations where you compromised on your life, your values, your ethics. You solved a problem. You thought you solved a problem. Later on, if the discussion came again, maybe after a few days or even after a few months or years, if this conversation came up and you say, like, I compromised at that point to solve this, the answer, the statement that comes from the other person will be, you never had to compromise. I didn't tell you to compromise. Why did you choose it? It was your choice. It was your decision. It was not mine. I never forced you to compromise. Have you heard this anytime in your life? Can you resonate with this kind of situation? Let's imagine if you did not compromise in those situations. You hold on to yourself, your values and ethics, and you made a statement. Do you think that makes the other person have some kind of a more respect to you? That moment, it may be a little challenging to solve the problem, but the person can come back and you can have a further discussion and solve it amicably. Not compromising one person's interest, but a mutual solution that's not hurting or conflicting for both the parties. And if you say there is no such solution, you say it because you limit your own opportunities. You look only through a single lens. That is why you can see only one solution for that problem. For a problem, there are hundreds and thousands of solutions. Which one we dare to choose, which one we dare to see and go and approach, that will be the solution. Just that I look at one problem through single lens doesn't mean that there are no other ways to solve that problem. We all get trapped in that single lens view. That is where the problem lies. The problem doesn't lie on that real problem in hand or on the solution. The problem lies in our perception, in our viewpoint. If we show the courage to change our perception, if we open our heart and eyes to see the multiple solutions, possibilities, of course, there are hundreds of possibilities. So, who stopped it? We only stopped it. We never took the courage to accept that it was my limited viewpoint that made me to compromise in that situation. We always try to put the blame on others, put the blame on the situations, the surroundings. We never dare to take that blame. I'm not telling you need to blame yourself, but most of the time we try to place that responsibility on others. We don't take that responsibility. If I am facing some problem, if I am struggling internally, if I am in a pain, it's only because I allow it. It's only because I see only that pain there. I am not trying to see the abundance or the opportunities lies beyond that pain. If you look at your life today, whatever things happened in the past, you can see that as the best thing happened in your life. You learned through that. You had grown because of that incidents. Where you are today, the good things that happened in your life today is because you went through your past. But while we were going through that challenges and pain, we always tried to put the blame on somebody else. We always blamed ourselves. We said, I am not good enough. Why it is happening to me? I am this, I am that. You were not compassionate to yourself. You criticized yourself. You were judgmental to yourself. Self-love is non-judgmental. Whatever happens, you love yourself. You give priority to your own self because you are important in your life. Who is important? It's not your family, it's not your kids, it's not your parents, it's not your spouse, it's not your boyfriend or girlfriend. You are important in your life. If you are not there, none of these exist. Understand that first. Your presence, your life, the life in your body is the most important one. If you don't prioritize that, if you prioritize everyone else's life, does it make sense? I speak about compassion, but if I'm so brutal to others, so rude to others, does it make any sense if I speak compassion? It doesn't. In the same way, if you say you love your loved ones, you love your family, you love your kids, if you don't love yourself, the statement that I love you doesn't make any sense to anybody else. Think about it. I want you to have deep thoughts about it. It's time to wind up today's episode. Remember, the power is within you. The change that you want to see in the world is you, and you can do it. This is Ramya signing off. Take care and lots of love. See you. Bye bye.